Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We're just vibing right now. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. We made it another day, another week, and yet here we are. All right. So just harping on the particulars of last week, right? Going into the particular mindset that you have to have. Mindset, mindset is everything. Like if you don't have the right mindset, there's not really much that you can truly accomplish. You know, that's why a lot of people, when you see them in different situations and scenarios, they're in those particular dire straits due to the mindset that they currently have, right? So if the mindset is not propelling you to do something different, to alter the way you think, to alter the things that you do, alter the way that you talk, then nothing truly will ever have an essence of change. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like continuously poking somebody in the eye until that person realizes, okay, this is painful, or okay, maybe this is not normal. Their mindset will continue to allow them to allow that to happen. They'll be pleased with it. They'll start feeling a sense of abandonment if they don't get that excruciating pain, if they don't get that poke in the eye. Why? Because their mindset is warped. So once you change those particular ideologies that you do have, those nuances that are so cliche with the world, you begin to set yourself apart and set yourself aside, set yourself differently, right? Because we can talk about business, we can talk about money plays, we can talk about moving different, we can talk about all that. But at the end of the day, if you got ADHD in your mind, you're going to revert right back into what you were doing. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, an hour later, definitely 24 hours later, right? So it's very important to allow your mind to mature, because we mature in age, we mature in growth and stature. We age day by day, we grow day by day until you reach your peak, right? But what about your mindset? What about the things that you put inside of you? Like yesterday, I was on a Zoom call for an hour and a half, not speaking, not outpouring, not teaching, not doing none of that. I was simply being a sponge, allowing my mind to intake everything that was being said, everything that was going on around me, right? But why did I do that? I did that because my mindset tells me, hey, Benny, you need to input things inside of you that are productive, that are constructive, and that are profitable, not only to you economically speaking, but also spiritually speaking, also knowledge-based speaking, also information speaking, right? Because if I give you the step-by-step play on how to go ahead and take the idea that you have, if you want to be a beautician, if you want to open up a boutique, if you want to have a clothing store, if you want to have a shoe store, if you want to get started in real estate, if you want to get Airbnbs, if you want to start a car rental, if you want to do hair, whatever the case may be, you want to cut hair. If you want to sit down and go through the particulars of, okay, I got the information, I got the instruction, I know what to do, but your mindset not right, then what are you going to do with everything that you just received? It's about the particular input. You have to have the input as well as the output, because if you have one that is overreaching the other, then you're imbalanced. And that's why before you ever get into anything, you have to sit down and you have to analyze truly if you have what it takes to pay the cost. If you're able to psychologically pay the cost to do what it is that you're trying to do, then you've already conquered yourself already. You know, I like that slogan, like I conquered me, because you're your worst critic, and you're your worst enemy. And at the same time, you're the best lover of yourself, right? You love yourself so much that you do harm to yourself. You love yourself so much that you lie to yourself. You love yourself so much that you don't even really do what it takes to help yourself elevate. But everybody throw that L word out there just so carelessly. You'll throw that word out there as though it means nothing, but you have to understand that words pack power behind them. Words pack power behind them, and what you speak, you can either speak something into existence or you can speak something in a fashion to where it runs away from you. So you have to be very careful when it comes to that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share this screen real quick on here on my desktop. Boom. Y'all let me know if y'all want something free today. Outside of this free game, let me know if you want a free product, if you want a free course, if you want a free something, you want a free ebook, you got an idea, you want a free chat, you want a free counsel. Let me know. Let me know, because everything costs. But at the same time, some of the free stuff that you get is the most expensive piece of information you could ever have, right? So welcome to the Straight Game webinar, right? Because I am Mr. Do It Scared. Why do I call myself that? Because although I may have some fear, although I may have some hesitation, I do it anyway. Even if I am dreadfully afraid of what's behind that door, I do it anyway. So that is the particular mindset that I ensure that I spew out there to individuals I speak to, who I have encounters with, who I deal with, both business and personally, and here on the World Wide Web, right? Because me personally, I despise social media. I have no interest, no satisfaction out of it. But later on, when I get into it, it'll kind of help paint a better picture of understanding on why I do it at this particular point in my life. Because for many years, I was never seen. A lot of people are like, oh man, where you been? What do this, what do that? Thinking that I may have moved or gone on or whatever the case may be. But I truly have just never been that person who put myself out there like that. But now I'm in the essence in this particular phase of my life of understanding that the experiences and that quiet time that I did go through, I went through that so I can be able in today's time to be able to give you this information, right? Because I'm a serial entrepreneur, and all I know is hard work. All I know is going to get it. All I know is grinding, so to speak. But I hated that word. I hated having to do all that laborious and manual labor. I hated that particular grind, because a grind means that you never rest. So now I'm at a point in my life to where I'm able to take those life lessons and those life experiences and tell you what this 17-year-old kid experienced from the age of 17 years old of being out on my own up until this point in my adulthood. All of the chaos and the turmoil and the butt kickings that I took by life in order to give you a blueprint and a roadmap to where you don't necessarily have to go through those, right? Because at this point in your life, just like everybody else who's of age, you have additional bills that require excessive payments, right? So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bills, why do you only have one stream of income? So what I'm trying to push out there by way of these particular webinars is understanding that you need passive income to where you don't have to go find a second and a third job. You need passive income that comes in without you having to work for it. And that is what is utilized as a defense mechanism for those numerous bills that you do have. All right. Because for me, I've been able to live people's dream of being a six-figure earner since my 20s. So since starting at the age of 22, I was already at that six-figure dollar amount, and I have never retracted or gone beneath that ever since that particular time period. So what I'm saying is that it's all possible, and I can show you the same way, starting with the mindset, And then comes the physical on how I was able to level up and accomplish that years prior, because it's never too late. So one thing that I found was that I had to forget about this particular purpose talk. So I said, forget that, forget the purpose, because the purpose was something that I was always chasing, trying to figure it out. And I could never figure it out. I prayed about it. Lord, what is my purpose? What is my calling? What is it that you want me to do? What am I good at? The list goes on. So after still not finding it out, still not figuring it out, I realized that your purpose leaves you sitting, waiting for something to fall into your lap. Or are you searching high and low for this purpose to pop up? And it never does, because it never did for me. But your vision shows you your destination, hence the path to execute upon. So I had to forget the particular purpose and instill my mind on my vision. Okay, so what am I good at? What do I desire? How can I add value? Who can I help? Okay, I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I like helping people. I can talk to people. I can meet people at their level. And then something hit. It was like, okay, there you have it. I said, man, you got to be kidding me. It was that easy. And I spent all this time wasting my time trying to find this purpose and running away from what I was truly good at, running away from what I truly was called to do. Chasing down a purpose. So my goal is to help you recognize your particular vision as well, so you can act now in place of waiting for this miraculous purpose to fall out of the sky, because it's not going to happen. If you know what it is that you truly have a passion and a desire towards, that is your vision. So if you look down the road, that's your purpose down the road. The purpose is not right here. The purpose is where you see yourself, hence your vision. Okay. So what makes this particular discussion that we're having different? Like if you ask yourself, what is he talking about? How does this help me? Because I'm not doing this for my health. I can go to the gym right now for my health. Like when I get on here and I put in the time and the effort and the energy to not only can put the material together, but having the talking points of discussion, I'm not doing it because I want you to see me. I'm not doing it because I feel like I'm enjoying being heard or something of that nature. That's not the case. But I want to ensure that the mindset alignment is something that we always conquer, and we discover that firstly. That way you can have just a beginning inkling of understanding on it. It's really that small. It's really that minuscule. Although the mindset alignment is grandeur and massive, but once you get that understanding, then now you know that it was a small thing, and then you wish, man, I wish I would have been done that. Right? So this information actually places you en route to excellent credit. Why? Because I go over the foundations and the fundamentals of getting your mindset right. Your mindset is going to have something click and trigger for you to say, I need to get my situation in order. So now you got your mindset aligned. Now you understand that you need to better enhance and further improve your situation, starting with yourself, right? And now you know that having your credit in position is really that grandeur door that is oh so wide, but yet closed on you right now, just based upon decisions that you've made in the past, whether poor or mistakes, whatever the case may be. It's never too late to learn that. So you learn about your credit and you learn how to invest in you, because the realest investment that you can make is investing in yourself. Why is that? Because who else is going to do it? Who else is going to pour into you? Who else is going to be that particular voice of reason for the decisions that you make and the endeavors that you go through in your life? As I stated before, you're your worst critic. You are your worst enemy, and yet you are the best lover of yourself, right? So we're also going to get into a list of passive income streams that you can get into, right? If your credit's in position, then great. You can start today. If your credit's not in position, then great. You can work on getting it in position, right? Because what is broken can be repaired. So I've done a lot of things right. So after doing this for over 10 years, I discovered the number one mindset. Mindset is everything. All right. I also discovered that credit is king, right? Cash is trash. Credit is king. A lot of people came up with the notion that paying for credit was a sign of being poor. Paying with credit was mismanagement of money. Paying with credit was a last resort. No, using other people's money should always be the first resort, especially if you're able to get the particular benefits and the points and the rewards and things of that nature, or cash back, things that benefit you from basically utilizing others' money for things that you were already going to purchase anyway: groceries, gas, utilities. You had the money to pay for it anyway. So don't use the debit card, use the credit card. So number three, I discovered using other people's money is where it's at, as I just mentioned, credit, because I love credit. I love credit. So outside of real estate, outside of Airbnb, which is hospitality, I love the aspect of credit. I love the aspect of credit restoration, credit repair, credit information, credit knowledge. It's almost like it's a form of financial literacy, right? Just simply understanding your credit score and your credit profile and how those two combined can literally open up any particular door of finance for you, right? So the greatest investment that you can make is investing in yourself, right? And also passive income covers you in the case of a layoff or termination. If you run into a particular a time period in your life to where you were unemployed, you were laid off, you were furloughed, you were fired, they downsized, whatever the case may be, or you quit out of frustrations or a toxic work environment. Passive income comes in handy because your phone will still constantly go off dinging while you're not at work from deposits that are hitting your account. And when I tell you, when you're sitting around and and nothing's happening for you, but that's happening, it make you smile. It make you smile with the pearly whites, right? But I've done a lot of things wrong, so that's why when I speak solely upon things that I have done, I have experienced, and what I know. I don't make assumptions. I don't wing it. I don't make anything up. Okay, I'm telling you, and what the people say this out. I'm trying to tell you what God loves. All right. So the point of that is knowing that I've completely screwed up in life a few times, more than once, more than 10. But don't let anyone who hasn't been in your shoes tell you how to tie your laces. And that's one thing that I had to learn as well, by taking upon these opinions of other people, by taking upon the not know-it-alls, right? Because they're know-it-alls in their own mind, but they are not know-it-alls, telling you everything about this, telling you everything about that, and you lending a listening ear to that nonsense. So I shouldn't have. This is number one right here. I shouldn't have listened to others, especially family, right? Because nobody wants to see you do anything outside of what they know or what they're accustomed to, right? So until you develop your own mind, your own discipline, your own maturity, and your own way of doing things by understanding that I need to improve and enhance myself, my knowledge, my situation, for me first and foremost, right? Number two, I thought that debt was all bad until I realized what? There is a such thing as good debt. If I give you a list of banks and the first bank that you go to, you go for their credit card, right? And they give you a credit card for $10,000. Oh man, I got approved for this credit card for $10,000. Then you drop off of here, log on to LouisVuitton.com, and you buy a $5,000 bag. Then you get on social media, you start stunning, calling everybody broke and doing all this other crazy stuff. That's bad debt. But if you get approved for that $10,000 credit card Then you take $2,000, go put a deposit down on a home or an apartment, right? So now you got your deposit down. You have your utilities started up, AT&T, UVerse, your energy bill, water if you have to pay for it, cable. Okay, boom. You got 8,000 left. The rent is $1,000. You go ahead and pay 3 months up. So now, boom, five. You got 5 left. Now you get your furniture for $2,000. All right, you got 3 left. Now you ready to up and run. You got 3,000. You're 7,000 in the hole, but now you have a short-term rental property that's going to bring you in possibly $1,000 a month. So 7 months, you already have that particular credit card already paid off without you even have to do anything for it. And you'll more than likely make more money that anyway. But that's just the long term. Okay, so I'm gonna make my money back in such and such time period by doing nothing. You don't have to go out and work for it, right? So that's just one hack. All right. But I allowed my thinking to be small to where I put myself in a box thinking I had to be an eternal employee, thinking that I always have to work physical and manual labor, laborious jobs in order to get to the next level in my life, right? And I've also been complacent with having a good job because what situations will spoil you if you don't have the right mindset. All right. And I also thought that having additional streams of income was something non-black and brown people do. And why did I think that way? I thought that way because the environment that I allowed myself to fester in was an environment that was not beneficial to my intellect. All right. It was not beneficial for me. Right. So with it not being beneficial for me, I allowed myself to be what I was surrounded by. Okay. It says, I discovered all this the hard way, but you get a chance to get the cheat code. And the only thing that you have to do, because it doesn't matter how many products I sell, it doesn't matter what line I come out with, it doesn't matter how many ads I have, it doesn't matter about anything that I push out there and I put a price tag on it. If you stick with me, you're going to get all the sauce. You're going to get all the sauce, right? Even when it comes to restoring people's credit. Like, when my company does the work, it's still the same work that you could do. So when I relay this information on business, on funding, on loans, different things of that nature, it's still stuff that you can do. Everything you may not be able to find on Google, but the point is that if you stick close, you stick tight, you'll know what I know. See, but the issue is that a lot of people have a short attention span and they don't like the journey. But you got to fall in love with the journey. You have to fall in love with the challenges, right? But like I said, all the hard stuff and the difficulties that I have gone through, I went through all that so I can get this to you on a platter. But here you go. It's already cooked for you. Do this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like I said, like this book right here, like I call this the $1 million playbook. It's the $1 million playbook. I really should put a lock on it. I need to take all the pages out and put it and seal them up in plastic, fireproof sheets. All right. So a few signs for you to understand whether or not this information is for you or not. Like I said, every week, if the Lord say the same, every week, 8 p.m., I'm doing 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm doing the exact same thing. Every week is different. Every topic is a freestyle. Okay. But a few signs for you to know before you leave here tonight, a few signs for you to know that you are struggling, right? Your body feels tired and heavy, right? You don't feel like picking up calls and replying to text messages. Like everything in your life has become messy and disorganized. But you ask yourself, why? Why? Because your mindset is not aligned with where your current life is. And that's why we talk about mindset. That's why we talk about business. That's why we talk about personal. Because in order for you to get any of that in a proper, orderly fashion, you have to change the mindset. You have to be willing to become a sponge and work on inputting things that are healthy for your psyche, right? Starting with your spiritual self. You got your spiritual self and your physical self. So you got the spiritual, you got the carnal, right? You have to be able to input those things that are beneficial for both of those elements in order for anything after that to work properly. Okay. So when you're looking at your car, you're looking at your trunk, you're looking at the inside, you got Coke bottles, you got toothpaste that spilled, right? No cap on it. You got old food that's hardened, got mold on it. Like if you are surrounding yourself by filth, that's one of the reasons why you're struggling mentally. So if you're struggling mentally, you can never escape that mental bondage and walk into business prosperity, right? Because becoming a business owner, everybody screams that they want that, but everybody's not built for that. Okay. But like I said, the life experiences from this 17-year-old boy who moved out on his own has been on his own ever since. It's telling you what the life experiences has spoken unto him, right? Because when you look at a Bruce Lee movie or Kung Fu movie, Ip Man, and you see those people get mollywopped and whooped all throughout those scenes, that's what life did to me. And that's why I'm telling you that the hard knock life that you're living right now is only because you're allowing yourself to go through that, right? So when little things get to you, that's one sign that you are struggling mentally because you're not physically where you want to be, right? You have panic attacks. You can't stop scrolling through social media, right? Why? Because you're using that dopamine as a coping mechanism because you don't feel good about your situation. But I'm telling you, play by play, case by case, everybody's case by case is different. But these plays that these entrepreneurs run, these plays that are spoken of, they work. The information, right? The instruction, and then the execution. You get the information, right? Which is to know, aka knowledge. You get the instruction, which is the how to, right? And then you get the execution by following the number one and number two. When I say it's easy, it's that easy. But a lot of people, like I said, they're not ready mentally, right? So if you're feeling scared and anxious all the time, why? Because your situation has you up at night. Whether it's bills, whether it's that 9 to 5 you're working, whether it's that significant other that you know you should have been gotten rid of, right? And also when you can't focus and calm your thoughts. Mine always racing because my mind racing and your mind racing are probably two different things. I can't turn my mind off because I'm always thinking about how can I better myself? What can I learn? Or I need to finish that book. Or I forgot to do this research. Or I need to work on my web page. Or I need to call this client back. Or I need to do this. Or I need to do that. Oh, when am I going to talk about this Wednesday? Other people's mindset, right? A lot of times is, oh man, oh man, they're panicking, they're stressing. Like you're gonna die early. Don't die early. Don't die early, Earl. Right? And you also prefer to be alone most of the time. Like me, I'm a loner. I don't mind doing that. Right? But when you are going into your crab, like a crab does a shell, right? Like a hermit crab does a shell. If that's your way to escape, then that's an issue. That's a psychological issue. You know, don't run from the pain. Try to find a solution for the pain, right? And also, if you find it hard to get out of bed in the morning, I know last week I talked about like getting up and paving the way for the start of your day. Getting up and paving the way for the start of your day. How do you do that? You get up, you say your prayers, and you be thankful because you're able to see, you're able to speak, you're able to hear, you're able to feel and touch, you're able to walk, right? So everything in your body is working as it was the day before. So now you're thankful. After you're thankful, make your bed up before you do anything else, unless you got a pee-pee real bad. Make your bed up, right? Don't find it hard to get out of bed. Be happy, be blessed, just be secure in yourself and just knowing that he is, right? Another one, you can't motivate yourself to do anything. So if you can't motivate yourself to do anything, then speaking to me, being around me, or listening to me is not anything that you are going to want to do, right? Because if you don't motivate yourself, I'm gonna do it a couple times, and after you have no motivation there, then I'm probably gonna stop talking, right? So the last one here I'm gonna speak on is that you feel like nothing you do is good enough, right? And to me, if you're one of those people that feels like whatever you do is not good enough, then you're really just not trying hard enough. You're not challenging yourself enough to get a sense of self-pride out of what it is that you're doing. Okay. So the hard way to success is thinking that you are going to work until you're 65 and retire. Because when you look at the average citizen, the average person, they're still working well above the age of 70, right? So until you start to develop that you need passive income and additional streams of income to combat your additional streams of outcome, which are your bills, then you're going to continue to do things the hard way. You're going to continue to think that you need to work 120 hours a week in order to get ahead in life. But how long can you keep that up? Okay. And you also, you got a lot of people that think every time they buy a lottery ticket, it's my ticket right here. So you live your life without just playing it like it's a game, but really just banking on it and betting on it. But your mindset is not even right. So even if you were to win, you are going to end up in a worse case than you were before. Why? Because that alignment of the mindset is not going to match up to the riches. All right. So no guessing. When you stick with me, there is no guessing. I'm gonna tell you why. Because in the past 5 years or so, I've invested thousands and thousands of dollars in mentorships, right? Mentorships, ebooks, books, mastermind classes, webinars, 3-day trainings, 5-day trainings, 4-week trainings, VIP business meetings. And I didn't quit and say it's too hard. Like I said, I allowed myself to be a sponge. I allowed myself to intake information, take a break, analyze it, allow it to digest without overwhelming myself, too much, you know. So I'm gonna end up getting ready to close this one out. But my results are not typical. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the way that I initially was raised is different than yours, and the way you were is different than mine. So our outlook and our take on things are always going to be differently. But one thing for certain, and this one is for sure, is that success is success. Money is money. Abundance is abundance. Happiness is happiness. Right? There's no gray area with that. There's no misinterpretation or misunderstanding when it comes to that. So, like I stated, you stick with the webinars, you stick with the information. As they say, if you blink, you're gonna miss something. Don't let that be you, because you got a true genuine person, right? To the best of my ability, in this thing we call life, dedicating time into putting this material together, putting this information together, and going out there and just telling you the facts, right? So I provide the information, you apply the execution, okay? So you got to make something happen or wait for somebody else to do it. And how that sound? Because who's gonna do it for you? Who's gonna do it for you? All right. So if you need credit in position, in closing, I'm gonna close out in 2 minutes. If you need to have your credit in position, Now you can reach out, either go to my website or hit the link in my bio, and just reply me, ME, in all caps, and I'll see it. Okay, because the key that unlocks all doors for you is having your credit in position. 600 up above, 620 above, 650, 680, 700, 720. Good. Okay. That's where you want to be. If you're anything beneath that, then you need to be reaching out. And also, if you have any derogatory, negative, late payments, missed payments, collections, child support, student loans that are passed, or missed payments on those, repossessions, bankruptcy, okay, you need to be reaching out. Even if your score is high, that is something that is in your profile that is showing up derogatory and or negative, right? But good credit gets you funding for you to be able to invest, because that's the point. I know a person with an 800 credit score that is completely oblivious on how to use it. In their mind, they just feel like they can go get a new car if they want one. You know what I mean? That's a basic level of understanding when it comes to your credit report. All right. So what you want to do is get the credit knowledge that we speak on every week on how to properly put yourself in position to where you can get out of that 9 to 5 and you can start investing into passive income. And the way you're going to do that is by having your credit in position, using your credit that's in position to get funding and loans from the bank, to use OPM, other people's money. And then you're going to invest in assets, and you're going to invest in additional streams of income that, even if you were to use credit to get those particular additional streams, the streams don't stop. The streams only stop when you stop. Okay. So as those streams continue to come in, what you're doing is using those streams to put money in your pocket, using those streams to pay off the good debt, and also using those streams to help you take the trips you want to take, to help you go shopping if you want to go shopping. Because now is the time to do it. Now is not the time to do it. Okay. Until you get that, don't do that. But when you get that, you can do that. Double up. Double up. Yeah. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna check out. Peace.